guys, welcome back. How you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much guys for always coming back. My name is Cynthia. If you're watching my video for the first time, you're welcome. Please subscribe, like and share my video. And to my returning subscribers, I love you guys. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing us how to make this off-shoulder top. So I have a yard of Adore fabric. I'll be adding lining to it. So I'll be cutting the front and the back separately. This is the front one. My fabric is folded into two. I use the biggest part of the body to fold my fabric, which is the hip measurement, and I added about 4 to 5 inches to it. This is my starting line, and I will mark ½ inch for my sewing allowance. I'm taking the vertical lines. This is 6 inches. I'll minus 6 inches for the off shoulder. I'll use ½ inch to hem the upper part. I will mark from shoulder to bust, which is 11 inches. From shoulder to waist is 17.5 inches. The length is 25 inches. I will leave ½ inch for joining. The first thing I will mark is to take my bust span measurement. The bust span measurement is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches. So I'll mark 4 inches. That's my bust span. I'll mark 4 inches all through. I will connect it. Sorry, I didn't mark the under bust measurement. So I'll mark the under bust measurement, which is 15 inches. This is the bust line, under bust, waist and the hip line. I will go to the lower part here. I will mark 1 inch on this side and mark 1.5 inches on this side. I will go to the waistline. I will mark 1.5 inches on this side and 1 inch on this side. I'll take it up to the under bust measurement. I also mark it on the under bust measurement. So I will connect the lines, 1.5 and 1 inch on this side. I will come down 1 inch from the bust line and go up 1 inch from the bust line and connect this to the under bust measurement. I don't want it too curvy. Just connect it like so. And connect this one as well. Connect this side. Not too curvy. I will go to the upper part here. Mark 1 inch on each side. I will mark 1 inch on this side and mark 1 inch on this side. I will connect it to 1 inch above the bust line. So we'll go ahead and place the circumference measurement. I will place 1/4 of the bust measurement right on the upper part here. The bust measurement is 42, divided by 4 is 10.5 inches. I will add these 2 inches back because I will be cutting it out. And mark 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. So we go to the waistline. I will mark the waist measurement. 1/4 of the waist measurement is 8.5 inches. So I will place it 2.5 inches back. Mark 1.5 inches for my sewing allowance. It's the same measurement I use for the waist and the under bust measurement. So this is the hip line. I will do the same thing for the hip line. I will place 1/4 of the hip measurement right here plus 2.5 inches. So 1/4 of the hip measurement is 11.5 inches. I'll mark 2.5 inches. 1.5 inches for sewing allowance and ½ inch for ease. So I'm marking 2 inches here. I'll go ahead and connect it. So I'm connecting the lines. Right on the edge here, we'll go up by 1.5 inches. We connect it to meet this existing line. That's it for the front. I'm cutting it out. I'm cutting the lining and the material together. So I'm done cutting it. I will cut the back side. I'm also cutting the lining and the normal fabric together. This 1.5 inches is my zipper allowance. The back is 1.5 inches wider than the front. And I have the same length here. I will mark my starting line. So I'll place my tape like so. I'll still minus the 6 inches. This is my starting line and then my ½ inch for sewing allowance. So this is 17.5 inches. That's the waistline. Here is the chest line. So this part is my hip line. The under part here is my hip line. The length is 25 inches. I added ½ inch for sewing allowance. That's 25.5 inches. I'll go ahead and place the circumference measurement. The quarter of the bust measurement is 10.5 inches. I will add 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. So I'll go to the waistline. A quarter of the waist measurement is 8.5 inches. I'll mark 1.5 inches for sewing allowance and 1 inch for that. I'll be adding that to the back side. So for the hip side, I will place a quarter of the hip measurement, 11.5 inches. I'll mark 1.5 inches for sewing allowance and add extra ½ inch for ease. I will connect the lines. So I'll go up by 1.5 inches. I will connect it. I'll mark 4.5 inches on this side. That's my dart line. 4.5 inches. I will mark 4.5 inches right on the waistline as well. So I will take the dart up to the chest line. My chest line is 8.5 inches. To get your chest measurement, you divide your bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5 inches. That's 8.5 inches. So this is my chest line. I will take my dart up to the chest line. That's the back dart. So I'll take it like so. Take ½ inch on both sides. For the hip side, I'm not adding that. Instead, I will go up by 3 inches right from the hip line. Go up by 3 inches. I will connect it from the chest line to this ½ inch. Connect this side. I'll bring it to 3 inches above the hip line. So if I'm sewing my dart, I will stitch it from the chest up to 3 inches above the chest line. This is the back waistline. I will go inside by 3/4 inch. This is to eliminate any zip bulge. I will connect it like so, and then bring it down like so. So I will cut it out. And this is like that. We're done with the cutting. I'll join the fabric together. This is the back. Now use the lining to turn the back, right side facing right side. I'll use a 1/4 inch to stitch it round. I'll stitch the upper part, stitch the bottom part. I'll stitch here, leave about 3 inches on sewed. I'll leave 3 inches open. I will turn it out right from these 3 inches because I'm stitching everything around. I'll repeat the same thing for this one. And for the front, so I will open this center part and join them together. I'll place this like so. Use half inch to stitch here. Use half inch to stitch this side. I'll do the same thing for the lining. I've finished joining it. This is the front. Make sure you notch, open it up and iron it. I'll use the lining to turn it. I'll use a 1/4 of an inch to stitch here, 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 and leave 3 inches open here. I will turn it right from these 3 inches. This is the back. I've used the lining to turn the back. After stitching it, I turn it right from here. I will stitch this place up. I will stitch my dart right from the chest line all the way to 3 inches above the hip line. I will do the same thing for this side. I will attach my zip. I will fold it like so. My zip is up to here. I will stitch up this side and attach my zip here. So guys, this is the back. I've finished attaching the zip. I've also stitched the dart. And this is the front side. I've used the lining to turn the front. I will stitch up this place. So I'll go ahead and join the front and the back together. I will lay them against each other, right side facing right side. I will take the measurement, the bust measurement, the waist measurement, and the hip measurement. Half of the bust is 21, half of the waist is 17.5 inches. Half of the hip is 23 inches. I added extra half inch for ease on both sides. I marked 23.5 inches for the hip line. I'll go ahead and stitch it and stitch this side. So guys, I'm done joining the front and the back together. I don't want to pad. If you want to pad yours, you can go ahead and pad it, but I just want to leave it plain. So to cut the strap, you will measure from here. You measure it right from the armpit here. Take it across your neck to this other side. So for me, I have 25 inches here. So this is my strap. I cut out about 2.5 inches folded into 2. So I stitch it on one side. After stitching it, I turn it inside out. And I left this place open because this is where I'm going to insert it. So I open up this side to about 2 inches. Same on this side. I will take it, place it like so. I will stitch it together with the seam. Make sure it's straight and place it like so. I will stitch it up. So this is the dress. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like and share this video. I will see you in my next one. Bye.